Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Reds Reloaded, the podcast where we talk about everything Cincinnati Reds. I am your host, Kyle Luther, a lifelong Cincinnati Reds fan. This is Chandler Patrick. He is also a lifelong Cincinnati Reds fan. Now, guys, before we get started, we want to give a huge shout out to our interview with former Reds pitcher Sam LaCure. We had an absolute blast. Sam gave us some pointers on how to make the podcast better, and we are excited to get more guests on the podcast. So, guys, getting into the week scores in the last 6 games for the Reds, it was horrible, guys. To be completely honest with you, to completely be transparent with you, it was horrible. We went 2-4 in the series, and against the Yankees, we went 0-5, 10-2, 4-1. And against the Brewers, we went 1-2, 0-2, and 5-6. We snapped a uh 44 like series streak at the Great American Ballpark. We had 44 series that we didn't lose at Great American Ballpark. That snapped against the Brewers. So, Chandler, what would you give the Reds overall grade for the last 6 games?
So it was a bit conflicting with putting a grade on this because some of the numbers are a little inflated. We had some, you know, we had a really good game, especially those last two against the Yankees. But then we also had a poor series against the Brewers. Overall, I did give them a C. Um, I didn't think that the performance as a whole was horrendous, but overall, the record was 2-4, right?
Right.
Like, it's hard to give that too high of a rating, but we did have 20 runs scored, 18 runs allowed. I even broke it down on my end. I gave the pitching a B minus for those 2 series. We averaged giving up 3 runs per game, and then offense, I gave them a C. Um, we scored 20, but there was definitely room for improvement, especially in that Brewers series. What about you?
So I would probably I'll break it down a little more. Okay. I give our pitching I give our pitching a B, like in between a B plus and a B minus. Our pitching was kind of on point. The bullpen kind of showed up, and our starting pitching wasn't horrible. Um, the the hitting grade, I would probably give a C also. Um, they kind of showed in the games, um, like the entire Brewer series. We could not find a hit. We found some, but we couldn't find what we needed to win that series. That last game against the Brewers, Dane Myers came up and he was the last bat in that game. He grounds out. Edwin Arroyo in that game. We go into that game and they're like, "Hey, just put a bunt down so the runners can get to third and second base." And he lays a bunt down. It goes right back to the pitcher. They do a force out to third. So I think our hitting gets a 3. What was kind of biggest surprise, biggest disappointment? What would you say?
So, biggest surprise really was overall how well we were able to perform against the Yankees, especially in that second game. Winning 10-2 was absolutely electric. Um, I was kind of bantering with one of my buddies that's from New York and he's a Yankees fan, and I was like, that's crazy. But we also got shut out by Cam Schlitter the night before, so kinda evened things out. But, yeah, taking that series against the Yankees, I don't wanna say was super surprising, but especially that performance in that second game was surprising. Biggest disappointment was ultimately our lack of offense in the first 2 games of that Brewers series. Those were winnable games.
Right.
Like you mentioned, our pitching staff was on point, and we just didn't capitalize on that. What about you? What was your biggest surprise and biggest disappointment?
So you might agree with me. I think my biggest surprise was Brady Singer. Brady Singer came out and he threw 7 solid innings. He didn't allow a run. He only allowed 2 hits. Uh, that's my biggest surprise. Biggest disappointment is probably the hitting. I hate to go back on the hitting because we did have some games where we had some home runs, we had some RBIs, but there is too many inconsistencies throughout these 2 series that showed that our hitting is not there even still, like it was earlier in the season. I think going on like to best win, I think that second game against the Yankees. I think I'll agree with you on that one. That was our best win. Um, because it showed the Reds can compete against the Yankees, can compete against their pitching because they do have a solid pitching staff and they do have a solid lineup. And
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
the Reds,
ultimately, both of these 2 series, we're facing the two of the teams that have the best, pitching staffs in all of baseball, so it was gonna be difficult, but yeah, we definitely did show up.
and arguably the best records in baseball.
Yeah.
So it showed that we can compete. I don't think I hate to say this, but I don't think we're on the Dodgers level of competing yet.
Nah.
But we need to find some. The toughest loss, man, that was last night. Last night was terrible. The Reds did come back. They were down 6-0. They did come back to within one, and it kind of showed with the bats. We get deeper in that. I think Dane Myers was batting third in that lineup last night, and he came up. Edwin Arroyo came up. He hit a grounder to the pitcher, and it was an out. And then you had Dane Myers who grounded out and grounded into a double play to end the game. So I think that's our toughest loss because we did show that we can go up and get runs on the board, but we cannot get it done at the end of the game. So what about you? Do you think?
So, my toughest loss, I was gonna argue the first game of the Brewers series, when we lost 2-1.
Right.
That was scoreless for both sides through 9 innings. The entirety of the offense didn't come until the 10th inning. Brewers were able to score 2 runs, Reds scored 1 run, but ultimately, there was only 3 hits acquired by the Brewers, and the Reds only collected 2 all game. It was a pitching duel, and all we needed to do was just squeeze in some offense. I
Right.
mean, it was right there. The whole game, we had that opportunity to string something together and collect that win, and for us to battle that long into the game, and then all the offense for both sides happens in the 10th inning. I mean, it was right there. It it really was, but ultimately, we just couldn't secure that win.
Right. So a little momentum heading into the next series. I think it's our bats finding. I think it's our pitching staying on point. Um kind of those two matching up. And that's what we want to see out of a ball club, right? We want to see the pitching matching up, the hitting going really well, and I think that's something we need to backtrack on and see what's wrong with our bats, what's a tiny bit wrong with our pitching, and I think we can compete into these next 2 series. So, kind of going around the bases, Chandler, you want to talk about um, the Yankee series? Let's break down the Yankee series.
Yeah, so that first game against the Yankees again, lost 5-0. Our batting average for that game was a 233. We nothing offensively, right? Completely shut out. But Rhett Lauder, he went 5 and a third innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 earned runs, had 5 Ks. Caleb Ferguson came in, pitched an inning and a third and 2/3, 1 hit allowed, no earned runs, was able to perform solid. Zach Maxwell pitched an inning, gave up 1 hit, 1 earned run, and collected 1 strikeout. And then Going into the second game against the Yankees, that 10-2 win, we hit 237 that game. Spencer Steer collected a home run. We had 10 RBIs in total. That was Sal Stewart's 6 ribbies by himself. So big game for Sal. If
Right.
somebody was going to get the game ball for that game, it was going to be Sal. Dane Myers had an RBI, and Spencer Steer had 3 RBIs that game. Andrew Abbott went 5 innings, allowing 5 hits, 1 earned run, and 6 strikeouts. TJ Antone came into the ball game, pitched 2 innings, gave up no hits, no earned runs. Big performance out of him. Brock Burke, 1 inning, 2 hits allowed, 1 earned run. Chase Petty came in, 1 inning, 1 hit, no earned runs. We had a catcher's interference that game from Jose Trevino, which was interesting. We had a rare error from Matt McClain and Edwin Arroyo that game as well. But fortunately, it didn't burn us too bad.
Right.
Obviously, our offense was there to pick us up anyway. Then that third game against the Yankees, Tyler Stevenson, big home run, absolutely shifted that momentum. It was a 3-run shot. And the other RBI for that game came from Noelvi Marte. But yeah, Tyler Stevenson gets the game ball for that game. I mean, without that 3-run shot, I don't know if we win that ball game. Right?
Right.
It would just been tied 1-1 still. Um, Chase Burns, 5 innings pitched, 5 hits allowed, 1 earned run. He did allow 3 walks, but he also collected 7 strikeouts. Sam Maul, 1 inning, 1 hit allowed, no earned runs. Caleb Ferguson, 1 inning pitched, 1 hit allowed, no earned runs. And then Santion, 2 innings, no hits, no earned runs. So we might be seeing Tony Santion being dialed back in. Um, but we'll see as time goes on. I don't want to get too ahead of it right here, but I think we're seeing better stuff from Tony Santion here recently.
So what kind of stood out to you in those 3 games? Going game by game, what kind of stood out to you, either pitching wise or hitting wise? I think we had some strong performances in those games. Just hearing your stats and
Yeah. So I would say the biggest thing about the pitching staff was the bullpen overall. I think everybody collectively was really solid in that series, but I think the strongest point was our bullpen.
right,
Um, and that says a lot when we cover Andrew Abbott and Chase Burns starts and how well they were able to pitch. Um, the bullpen was, even more lights out as a whole throughout that series when you include that first game as well. Um, and then I would say offensively, I mean, you heard the names that I mentioned going game
right,
by game, right?
right,
I love to see that it was kind of a shared effort. It wasn't just one guy that was winning us that series offensively, that was just white hot and carrying the team. It was truly a group effort. I mean, every single game I can go through and pretty much give the game ball to a different person. Um, like I said, Sal Stewart in that second game, Tyler Stevenson in that third game. First game, obviously, we got shut out, but um, regardless, like it was a true group effort, and it wasn't just one guy holding the fort down.
oh, absolutely. So going on to the Brewers series, guys. Like we said, it was a rough Brewers series. Going game by game. That first game again was a 2-1 loss, and they had a 237 batting average, 0 RBI, or not 0 RBIs, 0 home runs. Sal Stewart did have 1 RBI, but who gets my game ball in this game? Brady Singer. Brady Singer he pitched 7 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. That is a strong performance from Brady Singer that we have not seen yet this year, and we're starting to see more of as he pitches. But the bullpen guys, Sam Moll came in. He didn't allow any hits, any earned runs. He only pitched an inning. TJ Antone, he only pitched 2 1/3 inning. He had 1 hit, 0 earned runs. And Brock Burke, he he pitched 1 1/3 inning, 0 hits, 0 earned runs, and a K. And Tony Santion came in for an inning, 0 hits, 1 earned run, 0 Ks. So absolutely, Brady Singer gets my game ball. Nothing to say really on the defense and the base running. We didn't really have anything on that. So the second game against the Brewers, we lost 2-0. Not something we want to see, but batting average was a 232 batting average. So not terrible, but not good. 0 home runs, 0 RBIs. Nick Lodolo had a solid start, but he didn't pitch that many innings. He only pitched 4 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 6 strikeouts.
Yeah, did you
Um,
wanna cover why he didn't go that deep into that bowl game?
I honestly don't remember, to be honest.
That hard line drive that came back and drilled him?
Oh yeah, that's right. He got hit in his wrist. That is right. Um, I think the X-rays were negative on that,
Yeah.
so just a little bit of rehab and he'll be okay. Uh,
Absolutely bums me out because he was having an amazing start.
yeah, Julio Garcia. He made his major league debut. Um, Great debut for him. He pitched 1 2/3, zero hits, 1 earned run, and 3 strikeouts. Solid performance. I know he's a little older. He spent a long time in the minor league, but solid debut for him. Solid debut.
I believe
He
he's 31, right?
Yeah, he's 31 years old. He spent 10 years in the 10 years in minor leagues. Caleb Ferguson came in that game after Garcia. He pitched 2/3 inning and 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 0 strikeouts. Uh, Pierce Johnson came in after that. He pitched the same amount of time as Caleb Ferguson, 0 hits, 0 earned runs, and 2 strikeouts. Chase Petty came in to finish that game, and he pitched 2 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, and 3 strikeouts. Defensively, we had Arroyo to Stewart double play. Arroyo has been really good. I don't know if you've noticed that, Chandler, but Arroyo has been really showing that he belongs at second base. I have something to touch on after I go through the series about that. And then base running, Arroyo was caught stealing. That seemed to be a problem in the both of these series, guys, the Yankees and the Brewers series. We got caught stealing a lot. Um, that last game against the Brewers, like I said, guys, it was a solid performance. The Reds just couldn't finish the job off, right? Um, we batted 233. Spencer Steer had a home run that really shifted the game. It put the Reds on. It was a 2-run shot that put the score to 6-3, and then we got a couple insurance runs that we needed. But RBIs, we had 5 RBIs. Steer had 2 of those. Blake Dunn had 1 of those. Suarez had 1 of those, and South Stewart had 1 of those. Starting pitching. Rhett Lauder did not have a good game. Rhett Lauder, he pitched 5 2/3, 8 hits, 3 earned runs, and 6 strikeouts. Our bullpen guys, we could argue, wasn't good, wasn't great, but it was okay. Sam Moll came in for an inning. He pitched an inning, 2 hits, 3 earned runs, 0 strikeouts. TJ Antone came in for 1 1/3 inning. Gave up 1 hit. He didn't give any earned runs up, and he got 2 strikeouts. And then Brock Burke came in to finish that game. He had 1 inning pitched, 0 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 strikeouts. Nothing to report on for the base running and the defense. Game ball for the second Brewers game. I probably give it to Caleb Ferguson. Caleb Ferguson kind of deserves that game ball. Nick Lodolo kind of went out early, so we kind of wanted to see our bullpen kind of strive. I think that last game against the Brewers, I think who gets the game ball? I think it's all of our hitters. all of our hitters get a game ball because we really showed that we can put up runs late in games and we can bounce back, but we didn't finish the job off. So, um, you got anything else on the games or anything like that? Oh yeah, I want to touch on this real quick. So I touched on Edwin Arroyo being at second base. I did hear that Matt McLean is actually taking reps in center field. Um, so maybe a new position for Matt McLean. We do struggle at that center field spot throughout the year. We've had everybody in there. We had TJ Friedel in there. We had Dane Myers. I know Marte had a couple starts, I believe, last year at center field, but maybe Matt McLean's our new starting center fielder. Hopefully, but
Um, so for those that don't know, Matt McLean did play in the outfield in college. They just haven't really put him out there on since he got drafted on the professional level. But he's talked about it in other interviews and stuff where he's said like, yeah, I played out there, so I think it was mainly like playing left field and maybe some right. I don't remember if he's played some center or not.
I think he
Um,
did. I think he played a little bit in college.
so it's very interesting that they're now starting to try to expand on what all he can do, outside of the infield. But I mean, I can tell you this: Matt McLean, when it comes to defense, he's going to put in the work that he needs to. He's going to hold it down. I mean, whether it was shortstop, whether it's second base, and I'm sure if it's in the outfield, he'll be fine. I know he's not the tallest guy, and we might not get to see as many crazy home run robberies if he was out in center field. His speed, I mean, he'll be able to make up for a lot of that stuff. And also, you know, that value of being able to play multiple positions and kind of be a utility guy. Look what it's done for guys like Spencer Steer. I mean, it gets you all that playing time, makes you versatile, and ultimately brings up your overall value.
Right. Yeah. So I think him moving to center, I think that gives a really good opportunity for Edwin Arroyo to stay up. But I don't know. Maybe we can make it work. I don't really. It's not necessarily that I want to see Dane Myers go anywhere, but Dane Myers hasn't really been performing well. So I think we move somebody else in that position and see how it goes. So, um, guys, this is a new segment we want to roll on. Uh, so we're Reds Reloaded, right? There's no secret behind that. You see it in our logo and stuff like that. We want to see who's reloaded. Who's our player of the week, pitcher of the week, hot bat award, stuff like that. We want to see all that. And we got some awards to give away this week to some outstanding pitching performances, outstanding hitting performances, and I will let Chandler take the player of the week.
So, player of the week is none other than Mr. Sal Stewart. He hit 250 over those two series. He had 8 RBIs. And I mean, ultimately, you look at any player that has 8 RBIs in two series, over 6 games. I mean, how do you not really give them that award? Um, that is, you know, on the high end of contributing to your ball club. Um, it's a lot of driving in runs for just 6 games. Um, yeah, I mean, we've seen it time and time again throughout the year. Sal Stewart has an ability to come up big in many key moments.
So that kind of touches on your next one, a hot bat award. Uh, I think you have South Stewart also, correct?
So South Stewart is on there, but I also want to mention Blake Dunn. He hit 333 in that series against the Yankees and the Brewers. He had 2 doubles, scored 4 runs overall, and honestly, in my opinion, I think that he would be our best option in the long term as of right now for center field. He has the speed, he can cover the ground. Um, he's had many reps out there already, mainly in the minor leagues. Um, but yeah, I mean, Blake Dunn, he might not be driving in a whole lot of runs. He might not be that guy. But as we mentioned about leadoff men, I think Blake Dunn is kind of showing that he's that guy with his speed and his ability to get on base so far this year.
So going on to pitcher of the week, I have, and I think Chandler will agree with me on this because he deserved it. We've talked about him time and time again, guys, for struggling and possibly trading him, and touching on that a little bit. Brady Singer. Brady Singer's our pitcher of the week, guys. He had
I think
a.
he listened and took it personally.
I personally do. I think he took. I think he took our podcast personally. Because he went in, he pitched 7 innings in that Brewers series. He pitched 7 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, and 7 strikeouts. Have we seen that from Brady Singer this year, Chandler?
I mean, I don't think that Brady Singer has been on a better run all year than what he's on in the month of June.
Right,
It's like as time goes on for this season, he just keeps getting better.
right,
Um, he had a rough start, right? It's a lot of ups and downs, mainly low spots, first couple months of the season. But I mean, he's been absolutely insane this month, and this is for sure the best start that he's had all year.
right. And
Maybe in his entire time with the Reds so far.
that is true. Um, I don't know what his pitch count was during that game, but um, I mean, maybe he was high on pitches, and
It's
Tito wanted to.
looks like 106.
So he was 106 pitches. We have never seen that from Brady Singer this year at all. And I will say that. We have not seen him go that deep into ball games. We haven't seen him go past the 6th inning, to be honest. And in the month of June, guys, he has 4 games start. He has 22 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, and has an ERA of .62, and has a whip of 1.09, and has 23 strikeouts. That's a different Brady Singer than what we were seeing from the beginning of the year. Absolutely. That is different Brady Singer. And I love this Brady Singer because we know we can rely on him to get through games and get through these tough series. He did. He went 7 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs against the Brewers. The top in the NL Central right now. The top team in the NL Central right now. And that really shows that he can bounce back and he can he can dominate. So, who do you think the player is that needs a little bounce back, right? Who's struggling a little bit, who needs to bounce back, take a step back, and look at what they're doing.
Unfortunately, I believe that as of right now, that is Rhett Lauder. Um, you know, 11 innings pitched, 14 hits allowed, 7 earned runs, 11 strikeouts, which is nice. But I think him coming back, he's had some disruptions this year, right? He was out with injury for a little bit, and he's only had a couple starts since being back from that. Rhett Lauder has the stuff. We've seen him compete. I don't know if something's still bothering him physically or not. I hope not, but I'm hoping that whatever the issue is, I'm hoping that it can kind of get resolved. Um, you know, so that he can get back out there to doing what he needs to do. I don't know if he just needs to dial in or whatever, but it has not been the prettiest stretch for Rhett Lauder.
Yeah, I mean, allowing 14 hits, I think that just speaks enough, and only getting 11 strikeouts in 11 innings. I mean, that's a strikeout an inning, but um, I think he needs to bounce back, take a step back, work with the pitching coaches, and see what he can do. Our unsung hero, I think it goes to Caleb Ferguson. Caleb Ferguson really has bounced back in the bullpen. Somebody we could trust to come out. And 3 innings pitched. This is 3 games. 3 games that he appeared in. He had 3 in a 1 inning, 3 and a third inning pitched, 3 hits and 0 earned runs. Chandler, I think that speaks enough. Like, and not allowing a run late in games is arguably great. And I think it really speaks for what Caleb Ferguson can do on the mound late in games.
Yeah, I believe that he's been one of our best pickups from the offseason, and maybe one that hasn't been talked about enough by a lot of Reds fans. Um, yeah, I mean, he's been lights out. You know, we were missing him for a good chunk of the season because he was battling some injuries, but since he's been available for us to use, he's I mean, just absolutely clutch. He's been able to come in, get the job done, and he has been reliable for us.
Right. Right. Yeah, guys, that's kind of our awards for the week. If you guys like us doing these, tell us, please. Because we like to do these. I like to give awards out where awards are necessary. Who gave the strongest performance against those last 6 games? But kind of moving on, guys. We kind of like got a dugout debate, right? We kind of got like a dugout debate that Reds fans want to know some questions, right? So I'll let Chandler touch on that first question.
All right. So, should the Reds be buyers at the trade deadline? In my opinion, and Kyle, you and I have talked about this,
Right,
whether it's on the podcast or off the podcast.
right,
Uh, the time to strike is now. We mentioned it before. We only have some of these guys on the team for so much time. Once their time of team control is up or getting close to being up, we'll see them getting traded or just outright leaving the ball club. I think this is going to be one of the best years that we're going to have for the stretch for us to really commit to building something big. It's really difficult because of how well a lot of these other teams are performing. So I can understand why they'd want to sell. But if we do choose to sell, we can't make it be too drastic because I think that our window is between this year and next year. I don't even know if we'll really truly have that window in 2028 or not. It might go out that long, but once we get to 2029 and beyond, it's going to be really interesting because we might not even have guys like Ellie on the team anymore.
I mean, so do you think we should be buyers right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll kind of kick it on the other side, right? I think we need to sell some players. I think we should sell some players because you have people that have higher values right now, right? You have Tyler
Mhm.
Stevenson who has a higher value. You have Ellie. I don't know what they could do with Ellie right now, but I don't know if it's necessarily given away our good players, but we do need to fill some holes throughout that
So you're
deadline, right?
saying maybe like reallocation of resources or something?
Exactly. Exactly. But kind of touching. Do you think our bullpen's good enough right now, or should the Reds make moves?
So I would say that it's solid for right now, but I would feel more comfortable with us acquiring 1 or 2 more pieces for that bullpen.
Yeah, and I think Sam touched on that a little bit in our interview, right? We don't have a closer right now. Um, we're kind of relying on guys to move around to that closer spot and become that role for the Reds. But on another standpoint, we don't have Graham Ashcraft, and I think once pitchers start to come back, because we got a line of two. Hunter Green's coming back in a while, in a little
Mhm.
bit. I mean, he had his rehab start not too terribly long ago, but Hunter Green's coming back. What do we do with him? Who do we send out of the rotation to make room for Hunter Green? Because I don't think Hunter Green's moving into the bullpen. I think if he got moved to the bullpen, he would request for a trade. That's just my opinion. And I hate that. I hate that for real because I really do think Hunter Green would be he throws his heat and everything like that, and I think he would be better in a bullpen kind of role, right? Because he could come in late in games, get those batters out that we need to get out, not allow any earned runs, and keep our bullpen striving.
I think he would be a solid closer.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
L and I know we it's been a conversation through fans for the last few years, but with Nick Lodolo's injuries, people were wanting to suggest that he go to the bullpen. I could see that, and I wouldn't really be opposed to that, but even as good as Hunter Green is as a starter, he's been injured every single year as well. So, if we're gonna have that conversation about Nick Lodolo, we have to have that conversation about Hunter Green. And Hunter Green as a closer would be great. I think Chase Burns also would have been great, but he's been performing so well as a starter, it's hard to pull him out of that. And I think that they might be hoping that Chase Petty could end up being that guy. He's been very flexible on whether we need him as a starter or a reliever. I would love to see him get to that point where maybe he could even hold down that closer role or be a setup guy.
Right. And we kind of saw that, not to mention any names, but we did see that with Sam LeCure too at the beginning of his career. He was a starter too. He started for the Reds, but then he moved into the bullpen because he felt more comfortable. I can't speak on Sam's behalf, but um, we did see that with Sam. He moved from a starter to the bullpen, and I think it worked out really well for him. He had some solid seasons for the Reds, and he showed that he can strive out of the bullpen.
All right. So moving on to the next question. Who should hit leadoff for us?
Right now, um, I think you could argue Spencer Steer because he has a bat that's hot. I think you could argue. I think you could argue Marte should be up there. I don't like the fact, but I mean, I've heard some Reds fans say this. Ellie started leading off because he has a big bat and getting
Yeah.
things started off. But who do you put behind Ellie? That was the huge question when we had like Austin Hendrickson batting behind Ellie, and we didn't see any performance. And then we got Suarez. We haven't seen much performance. But I think my pick right there is Spencer Steer right now.
Yeah.
Who's yours?
I mean, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I would like to see Blake Dunn in that spot.
Yeah,
Um, he doesn't provide crazy pop, at least not right now. He has some, but like that's not his main thing. So I wouldn't necessarily want him as that big RBI guy. Like I don't want to put him in that spot because that's not necessarily who he is.
right.
Blake Dunn's just batting average, get on base, use his speed to create some stuff. I think putting him in front of like Ellie, Sal Stewart, Gino, um, maybe even Spencer Steer, like putting him ahead of those guys, the pitchers might be forced to pitch to him more and not around him, and then maybe they'll kind of take it for granted since he's not a bigger name like Sal Stewart or Ellie De La Cruz. They might just leave one out of the plate, give him some better opportunities to get some base knocks, and then create some runs with his speed. I absolutely love the idea of having him, somebody with speed and that can get on base up at the top of the order so that when our RBI guys come in, they have a better chance at driving him in because he might be standing on second base or third base because he swiped one or two bags, as opposed to having somebody at first base that may not have as much speed.
So what do you think of this? Blake Dunn, Spencer Steer, Ellie De La Cruz.
I think as of right now that's a solid, top three of the lineup.
Right. And
I think
I
that's a
think
good order.
yeah, I think Spencer Steer in that second spot. Now that you mention it, I think Spencer Steer in that second spot would do a little bit more because he has a little bit more pop to the bat. And if you get Blake Dunn on base, he's either scoring or he's going to third base. So that depends on whether he gets a double, single, triple, whatever. But do you think uh, do you think there's any prospects that should be called up right now to help with that lineup or pitching or what do you think? That's another question that I've heard.
So it's hard to kind of fit him in there, but we mention guys like Zach Maxwell in the bullpen, right? So he's not a prospect technically anymore, I don't believe, but I would like to see Connor Phillips get called back up at some point this season. He's been performing well in AAA, and I think if we give him another chance to iron out his issues and just get dialed back in, I
Right.
think maybe he was just going through a rough stretch and maybe we sent him down before seeing what things could have looked like truly in the long run. But I would love to see him get called back up. Outside of that, anybody else that would get called up, it would just be a depth thing. I don't think it'd be a playing time thing. That's just going to be up to injuries, more or less, right? I can't really think of anybody else that I really want to have called up as of the moment.
Do you call TJ Friedel up?
Certainly an option.
Yeah.
Um, Again, I think it mainly comes down to injuries.
Right. And TJ Friedel has been doing really well down in AAA.
Yeah.
Since he went down to AAA, and we expected that, right? We expected him to find his bat and find what problems were with his hitting, not be able to hit pitches or anything like that. But I think another guy they should look at is Hector Rodriguez. He's having a heck of a season down in AAA, and I think he would be a solid option. But again, you said it comes down to depth, and I completely agree with you. We don't have enough room for these players. But I do like how some of our players are moving around to create spots for those guys. And I think we're seeing that with Matt McClain. It's kind of moving away from that second base spot to create room for Edwin Arroyo. And Edwin Arroyo is doing solid at second base. If you guys have time, go look up his like highlights from second base, and you can see he does not let balls go by him. So just touching on the team itself, do you think we should move on from Tito? I mean, I've seen that question. I've seen that during every game. They're like, "Oh, let's fire Tito. Let's do this. Let's do that." Do you think it's Tito's problem or do you think it's the team itself?
I think more or less it's the team itself. Um, Tito can only control so much,
Right.
but the blame regardless is always going to fall on the manager, whether it was Dusty, whether it was Brian Price, whether it was David Bell, whether it's Tito now. Y- they're always going to point the finger at him because he's the head of everything, out on the field. I don't think that we should move on from him just yet, unless there's another crazy good option that presents itself in the off season.
Yeah, it's not like a Don Mattingly or big guys like that, Joe Torre, guys like that coming to the Reds. But do you think it's a owner problem? Do you think we should move on from Nick Kroll and Brad Minter?
I think that there's a good case for that. Um, I hate to point the fingers and play the blame game on them, but if our team that we're putting together year after year just isn't quite getting it done, then um, you know, sometimes you just have to start at the top. So
Yeah,
I'm sure that it's something they're already looking at, and they might make a move on that this off season anyway.
yeah. Um, So kind of moving on from that, just going around the NL Central, guys. I got the uh, I got the NL Central standings as of right now, as we speak right now. The Brewers are 49 and 29. The Cubs are 44 and 37. The Cardinals are 42 and 36. The Pirates are 41 and 40, and our Cincinnati Reds are 37 and 42. Now the wild card race, guys. The Brewers division leaders, so they're up in that second spot, right behind the Dodgers. The Cubs and the Cardinals have the second and third wild card spot, and the Pirates and Reds are currently out of the race right now. They're not too far behind. Not a stretch we can't like go on and get right back into that race. So Chandler, biggest surprise team right now, right? When we're talking NL Central, who is your biggest surprise team?
So my biggest surprise team, just for the NL Central, would be the uh, Milwaukee Brewers.
Why?
I didn't expect them to be as good
Okay.
as they've been. Um, you know, losing some arms recently, over not just for this year but the last couple years. You would think that maybe it'd be a bit more difficult, as they always end up losing some players, whether it's offensively or pitching wise, and yet they still end up at the top of the division, and I don't understand exactly how or why.
It's every
But
year.
yeah, but they end up having the best record in the NL Central so far, and that to me has just been really surprising. I thought they were going to be more around 500.
Right. Right. I think my biggest surprise team, believe it or not, is the second place, right behind the Brewers. I think it's the Cubs. The Cubs, I mean, we can speak on it for the last 10 years, right? The Cubs went on 100 and some odd 8-year drought and then won the World Series, and we really haven't seen them be relevant until now. Um, they picked up a few pitchers, they picked up some hitters, and it's really showing that they can put a team together again to maybe get back to the playoffs and maybe get back to the World Series where their fans want to see them. Right? I never want
Yeah.
to see the Cubs. We as Reds fans, we dislike every team in the Central. It's just a Reds fan thing. So, biggest surprise MLB team.
Mine would be the Chicago White Sox. They've really blown things away so far this year. Um, I think a lot of people have been surprised by how good they've been just because they're so used to how poor the White Sox have been performing for a while now.
Right.
So personally, that's got to be my pick for not just here recently, but overall this season. The White Sox for sure. It seems like they have a good core of guys that they've got going on now. I think they're going to make things very interesting for the American League.
I'll be completely honest. Touching on the NL a little bit, I think my biggest surprise MLB team right now is the Mets, right? I believe they just fired their manager today as we speak. They just fired their manager. And it's like a whole different Mets team that we saw last year. Quote me if I'm wrong, but I think they were in first or second place in the NL East last year. And
So we knocked them out of that wild card spot because they choked. They were really good, and it looked like they were a lock to be in the postseason last year, and then they just crumbled at the end.
right. And
Um,
I think they're crumbling this year. They made some moves. They got Juan Soto, but it hasn't shown. It hasn't shown at all. They're on their same. They're firing their manager. I mean, they're probably going to get rid of half their team after this year. It's just not showing.
on paper, they look great. Outside of maybe the pitching staff, like especially offensively, they look great on paper. But I mean, some of these guys that they have just aren't quite performing. So that's been an issue for them for a few years now, I want to say. Um, I remember them bringing in, whether it was different guys to help with the offense, but mainly with the pitching staff. And then it just never really works out, right? They had, what was it? Scherzer and Verlander, I think, a couple years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah,
And then they ended up having to send both of those guys away because it was like, nothing's working. They spent an outrageous amount of money and it still didn't pay off for them.
right. So going down to kind of closing the episode out, guys, but going down to the next series, we play a 3-game set against the Pirates and then a 4-game set against the Brewers. So your pitchers for the Pirates and the Brewers series, it goes in as order, as this order. Andrew Abbott, Chase Burns, Brady Singer, and then we got Nick Lodolo, Rhett Lauder, Andrew Abbott, Chase Burns. Chandler, what's your series record on these two series combined?
I know it might be a little strong, but I'm gonna say 5-2.
Man, you're more grateful than I am.
I I'm trying to speak some good things into existence, and I'm hoping that the Yankee series kind of showed them what they can do, and then the Brewers series hopefully lit a fire in them to really come out hungry for these next two.
So, me personally, I'm gonna be nice, all right. But I'm thinking more 4-3 uh for these two series. I think there's gonna be some tough games. Tonight's a big one. Paul Skeens against Andrew Abbott, and then Mezurowski, I butchered his name, but it's okay. But we got him against Andrew Abbott, so I think Andrew Abbott has uh two performances where he's got to face one of the top pitchers in the NL and the NL Central at that. So I think it's going to be a tough 2 games for Andrew Abbott and the lineup. So I think we lose those two, and then I think Rhett Lauder or Lodolo don't get a win. I don't think they get a win. I think both of those, few of those, couple of those losses are going to come in the Brewers series, and then a loss is going to come in that Pittsburgh series.
So the ones that I have winning games might be a little bold, but I have I have Andrew Abbott getting the win against the Pirates.
Yeah.
I think I think it'll be a pitching duel, but maybe we can get the upper hand on Paul Skeens. We got Chase Burns, Brady Singer. I think Lodolo does squeeze out a win in that Brewers series.
Okay.
And I was going to say Andrew Abbott, but then when I started going through doing the math, because they don't have the probable pitchers for the Brewers series yet. But when I was doing the math, I was like, it looks like it's going to be Mizorowski. So I don't have Andrew Abbott winning that game. I think Chase Burns does win that last game in that series. So ultimately, big, bold prediction. I think the Reds sweep the Pirates. Maybe I'm
Oh,
just
that's a bold one right there, man. That's a
maybe
bold one.
I'm maybe I'm just really trying to speak things into existence. But you have to think about it. If we were going to have a hot stretch in any series, we have Andrew Abbott, Chase Burns, and then Brady Singer, who's been phenomenal this month
Right.
in that series. I think if our offense can just show up, I think that we truly do have a chance at sweeping the Pittsburgh Pirates. And
Okay.
then I think that we'll only split the series against the Brewers. I don't think we'll actually necessarily win that series, but if we can just split it, I think it would be fine. We'd end up being 5-2. My prediction for the player of the week will be Ellie, and I think our home run leader will be JJ Bleday. And I'm predicting 3 big flies from him.
Wow. Okay. Winning
What
pitcher?
about you?
Winning pitcher?
I mean, like I said, Abbott, Burns, Singer, Lodolo, Burns. That's the winning pitchers that I think we're going to have.
Okay. Okay. Um, player of the week? Believe it or not, I got Tyler Stevenson, man. I got Tyler Stevenson.
Okay.
Tyler Stevenson, really good with the ABS, really good with has really shown up with the bat. Home run leader. Man, that's tough. That's really tough because it's like, you're making a bold prediction, but it's like, but bat wise, I think Spencer Steer gets a couple knocks. I think he has 2 knocks in the 2 series. Winning pitchers, I got Burns, I got Singer, I got Burns again, and then I think Louder gets a win. That's a bold prediction right there, but I do think Louder gets a win. That's my wins. The losses go as followed. The you got Lodolo, you got Abbott. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. It's a bold prediction, but I think I got it. I think I got it. DraftKings guys, go on DraftKings and make your bets based off of our predictions.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
just
you can
looking
always
at the
bet on
stats,
us.
guys, I mean, our bold predictions. I mean, Spencer Steer has been hot. Spencer
Yeah.
Steer has knocked the ball out of the park. I don't know about Ellie. I don't know. That's a stretch because he did come back and he went over. He went over 3. But
We'll
I
see
don't
what
know.
happens.
We'll see what happens. What's your bold prediction for these 2 series? Like, what's something that's gonna happen that's really gonna shock you?
I mean, I think going back to the Reds sweeping the Pirates,
Yeah.
that was the big one that I had for me. Was I think that we truly have a chance at sweeping Pittsburgh, and maybe I'm just trying to speak it into existence again. But if we were to have a set of starters for a series to do that against the Pirates, that would be the 3 guys for us to send out there
Absolutely.
ultimately.
Absolutely. I think my bold prediction. I mean, I truly think I think we might see Singer go 8 innings. Bold prediction.
Yeah.
Bold prediction. I don't think he allows a hit. I don't think he allows an earned run. He might allow a couple hits, but I think he goes 8 innings.
I'd love to see that.
So, Chandler, I know you wanted to talk a little bit. You were mentioning it before the episode. Uh, kind of like a today in Reds history kind of thing. I know you had something for that. Is that something you want to talk about?
Yeah, so On June 26th, which is the same day that we're recording this, 1938, Fred's second baseman Lonnie Frey collects 8 hits and a doubleheader against Philadelphia. He went 8 for 10 with a double, 2 triples, 4 RBIs, 13 total bases. That is a very great day to have. Um, I mean, you imagine playing 2 games and you go 8 for 10. I mean,
That might be a player for the week. Yeah, that's stats for like player of the week type stuff.
that at that point he's probably looking at it going, man, why can't we play these guys every game?
Right, right. But guys, I know the Reds have just added it. A Crosley Field historical marker on the west in the West End. It's located on the sidewalk next to the city gospel mission. It highlights the ballpark's history, 2 All-Star games, 4 World Series, and Major League Baseball's first night game. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but now you do. But like I said, guys, that'll do it for another episode of Reds Reloaded podcast. Chandler, and I, we appreciate every listen, every share. Um, Chandler, is there anything you want to say to the supporters about listening and sharing?
Yeah, I mean, we appreciate you guys tuning in episode after episode, looking at all of the posts that we make on all the social medias. You know, all the comments, supporting us, if you guys have suggestions, whatever it may be. We appreciate that. We appreciate everybody sharing our posts and the episodes, um, helping us grow and, really just spreading what we're doing here. Um, if you guys, if you guys don't know, you can follow us on Facebook, on our Facebook page. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on X, and you can obviously listen on, you know, 3 different platforms as of right now. We have Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. If you guys are listening on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, and if you are wanting to know if there's a video version of this, as of right now, the only one that is video is on YouTube. But if you guys just want to, fire it up in the car on your way to work, or, if you're at the gym, whatever, feel free to just listen to it on Spotify. Anything helps, right? And more importantly, we just want that feedback from you guys. What do you guys want to see in the future? Because we're trying to grow. We're trying to expand what all we do.
Absolutely, and I think I think we're trying to get more guests on here. Uh, we did appreciate Sam coming on here, and I'll close out the episode like this. We appreciate Sam coming on here and going against his time because he did have Reds live yesterday night, Wednesday night. He had Reds live that he had to go to, and it was 12 o'clock, and he recorded with us until about uh, 12:30, 1 o'clock, and we appreciate Sam taking time out of his day and being the first guest on Reds Reloaded podcast, and that's something we take to heart because we love to see it and we want more players. And if you want to be on, if you're listening, you're a Reds player, you want to be on the podcast, just reach out to us. I think the easiest way to reach out to us is on Instagram,
Yeah.
or X. But guys, that'll close out the episode. We appreciate you being here, and as Barty would say, this one belongs to the Reds. See you guys.